Hello there, I'm Dr. Russell Sharp, and today's episode is going to be a joint podcast between Hydroponics Daily, Grass Me Up, our sports turf podcast, and Serial Killers, our arable podcast, because it is applicable to all three podcasts. And today I'm going to be talking about products, fertilizers that claim to contain loads and loads of different elements. So, if you know anything about Utrema, you'll know that one of our hero products is liquid gold, or gold leaf as it's called in the US. And that's a product that contains every essential plant nutrient. And for me, there are 12 essential plant nutrients. And you can say sodium and chlorine as well, but they're going to be there as contaminants anyway, in more than enough that's required for plant growth. So 12, 14 at a push. And then for some things like legumes, you might need some elements to help the beneficial bacteria. And silicon is often considered an essential nutrient by many people. I consider it a beneficial nutrient because it helps plants grow but isn't essential for growth. And you can say the same for selenium. It's required for human health and animal health, so it's often added as fertilizer. We're certainly not getting above 16 though with those figures. Now, some products claim to contain far, far more chemical elements. Elements are on the periodic table. These are not different compounds. It's not like glucose or strychnine or, nitrates. These are specific elements. So hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen. And so they claim to contain loads. And I'll just give us some examples of some of them because they cover all sorts of industries. Then I'll go into why those claims are either complete nonsense or they must be extremely dangerous products. So let's go. So we have C90, which claims to contain 90 plus elements. It's complete spectrum. Often I say liquid gold or gold leaf as it's called in the US is a full spectrum fertilizer, but 90 plus elements, that's crazy. It claims to be a dehydrated sea minerals, and often you'll find that a lot of these products are from sea-based products. Ocean Solution Pure, 90 minerals, and is OMRI registered as for organic. So it's a sea mineral liquid. Azomite, over 70 minerals and trace elements. Loads of rock dust type products like Remin, but Remin's not the only one. There's loads with over 70 essential trace elements. That's straight off the retailer's branding. And then Hebridean natural seaweed liquid extract, more than 60 elements. Quick crop granular seaweed, King's seaweed, Symbio liquid seaweed, chelated micronutrients, over 60 elements. And then Tour Turf granular seaweed, which is very popular in organic sports turf with over 60 elements. So, yeah, over 60, some of them over 90, some over 70. So why is this an issue? Well, let's look at the periodic table. So we have got 118 elements, all the way from hydrogen up to oganesson. Have you heard of oganesson? Make sure you've got an up-to-date periodic table because we'll be going through it. So which ones can we discount straight off the bat? Well, we can discount the noble gases because they are unreactive and these gases won't be in a fertilizer, and they certainly won't be of any use. So let's get rid of them. There are 7 noble gases, so get rid of 7. That takes us down to a potential list of 111 elements. Now let's take away the man-made elements, the ones that don't exist in nature. Well, for a start, we can take away 95 to 117. We've already got rid of 118 oganesson. So the likes of americium, curium, berkelium, californium, einsteinium, fermium, these are all mendelevium, nobelium, these are all going. So these can't exist in these fertilizers unless they've somehow managed to put synthetic man-made elements in there. So let's get rid of those. What does that count equal to? That gets us down to 88. So some of those, we can call bullshit on some of those products that say they contain 90 elements there already because they won't be containing any synthetic elements unless they've got contamination from a nuclear power station or a nuclear research facility. So we've gone down to 88, but we can get further. We can get further down than that. We can get rid of 3 more straight off the bat. We can get rid of technetium, 43. While it has been detected in stars, all technetium on Earth is artificially produced due to its short half-life. Promethium 61. This element is also so unstable that it doesn't occur naturally, though minute amounts can be found in trace amounts in uranium ore. So unless these fertilizers are made from uranium ore, that's not going to be occurring, and it's very short half-life. Did I say shelf life? I want to say shelf life. And then francium. This element is extremely unstable, with all its isotopes having short half-lives, so is not found in nature. So let's get rid of those three. So that gets us to 85. Now let's get rid of the elements with no stable isotopes, because I'm sure that these products don't contain radioactive compounds. They wouldn't want to register that. So let's get rid of the radioactive ones. So let's get rid of polonium. There's no stable isotopes for that. And then we can get rid of, for the same reason, astatine 85 and actinium 89. So we're getting down there. We're up to 82 now. And where we got thurium, protactinium, and then all the transuranium ones, uranium, neptunium, plutonium. So we're down to 77. We'll leave bismuth 83 in, because even though it's radioactive, it's got a very, very long shelf life. I keep on saying shelf life. Half-life. It doesn't decay very fast, so they can have that one. So we're down to 77, and then we've got to say which elements are left. Well, I'm sure they wouldn't want to say that these products contain arsenic and lead, so they must be taken away. So let's take away arsenic and lead from these essential elements that these fertilizers contain. So that gets us down to 75. Then I'm sure they would say that these products are free from mercury and cadmium, two really poisonous, toxic heavy metals. So that gets us down to 73. Now, I'm sure these products don't contain beryllium or thallium, two extremely toxic elements that are on the periodic table. So that gets us down to 71. Let's get rid of radium. That's a radioactive as well. So we're down to 70. So we've got down to our magic 70. And of those that are left, many are toxic to plants in anything other than trace elements. Many are toxic to humans in anything other than trace elements. So it'd be interesting to know what these fertilizers that claim to contain 90 elements actually claim to contain. Because as we say there, either they don't contain 90 or they're containing ones that are radioactive, man-made, or extremely toxic. So we got to the magic 70. So products like C90, what else have we got? The rock dust products, all claiming over 70, over 60, over 90. You know, what do they actually contain if they're containing over 60 elements? Because plants don't need them. They only need, let's have a look, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, your primary macronutrients, magnesium, calcium and sulfur, your secondary macronutrients, and then your micronutrients, which are iron, zinc, copper, boron, manganese, molybdenum. Yeah, there you go. And maybe some silicon, maybe some selenium if you are looking for animal health, maybe some iodine as well there for animal health. But really, when we look at the rest, what are these products claiming the benefit is of having gold or iridium, palladium, and then you've got the heavy metals, which are carcinogenic. So cobalt and nickel, carcinogenic. Why would you be applying those in your fertilizer? Why would you want barium, cesium? What else have we got? Lanthanum, samarium, europium. The only use of europium, I think, is in European banknotes to make sure that they are not counterfeit. Ytterbium, thulium. So, yeah, when we say liquid gold contains every essential plant nutrient, it's the 12 essential plant nutrients. Plants will get carbon and oxygen from the air and hydrogen from water. The rest you don't need to worry about. Gold leaf doesn't contain any. In America, doesn't contain any gold. Liquid gold in the UK doesn't contain any gold. So if you're using one of these products that claims to contain these, then please ask, what are the elements? Please, can you list the 60, 70, 90 elements that they contain? Thank you very much for listening today. If you thought this was an interesting episode, then please leave a review. Please click the follow button, or at the very least, leave an Apple podcast review. And if you're listening on any other platform, don't leave a review because it's worthless. But please do check out utrema.co.uk and find all the crazy, interesting products that we make. We make organic biopesticides, novel biostimulants and bespoke and premium fertilizers. And we're the masters at getting elements like silicon and calcium and phosphorus into solution when otherwise conventional chemistry says you can't do that. So check out our portfolio. It's a really interesting portfolio of products. Okay, until next time, thank you very much for listening. Goodbye.